Next up on the AFC West draft grades is the Denver Broncos. With the 9th selection overall, they took Alabama cornerback Patrick Surtain. Before free agency started, I pretty much had Surtain going to Denver on the majority of my mock drafts, but they really tackled corner in free agency. Then they got Fuller from Chicago. Fuller was actually all-pro when Fangio was with Chicago with Fuller in the secondary. They signed him in the free agency. So I was kind of surprised that they took Surtain here. It's not a great pick. It's not a horrible pick. But Justin Fields being here at number 9. I think Drew Lock still has potential, and I'm not ready to give up on him like most Denver fans are. But Justin Fields here at number 9. I really thought Denver should have considered taking him here. And also Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons. Look at their two biggest needs. You can make a case that their two biggest needs are quarterback and linebacker. They did not address either one here in round 1. Despite those two players probably being the best players available here, this pick here with Denver was not a great pick. It wasn't horrible. It was decent, but I do not think it was a fantastic pick here by Denver. I do not think Denver had a fantastic pick in round 1, but I do, however, think they had a fantastic pick here in round 2. They traded up to get North Carolina running back Javonte Williams. In free agency, they lost Philip Lindsay to the Houston Texans. They have Melvin Gordon, but he's only on a 1-year contract, and he's getting up there in age, and he is not what he used to be. Javonte Williams is a great running back, and some people thought he was actually better than Clemson running back Travis Etienne, who ended up going to the Jaguars in the first round. I mean, now you look at the Denver Broncos offense. You have Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant. They definitely have one of the best young offenses in the NFL. They just need to find their quarterback, and they could be a real threat in the AFC. This was a fantastic pick here, getting Javonte Williams in round 2. The Broncos had 2 third-round picks, but with their first third-round pick, they took Wisconsin-Whitewater guard/center Quinn Meinerz. This was a great pickup. This was definitely a steal. The Broncos' offensive line struggled last season due to some players opting out due to the coronavirus, and some players were injured. They could definitely use some help in the interior offensive line. Quinn Meinerz was probably the one player that helped his draft stock the most at the Senior Bowl. He really impressed scouts during his interview process and throughout the game as well. This was a fantastic pick here by the Denver Broncos, getting Quinn Meinerz at 98 overall. This was a steal for the Denver Broncos. Like I said, the Denver Broncos had 2 third-round picks, and with their second third-round pick, they took Ohio State linebacker Baron Browning. This is another steal, and you can make a case this is even a bigger steal than the Quinn Meinerz pick just a few selections before here. Baron Browning should have been a second-round pick. He had a really nice pro day. Like I said, the Denver Broncos' biggest need was probably linebacker, and getting one of the top linebackers in the entire NFL draft, the 105th pick overall here, is outstanding. It's fantastic value. This is one of the better value picks in the entire NFL draft. If you're a Denver fan, I do not understand how you could be upset with this pick. This was a team need. This was best player available, and this was a awesome pick here for the Denver Broncos. And round 5, they double up on safety. With their first 5th-round pick, they took Texas safety Caden Sterns. This was a nice pickup here. Caden Sterns was one of the better safeties in the draft, but he's had some injury issues, and that's why he fell so much. They signed Simmons to a huge extension in free agency. I think maybe getting some safeties for more depth position is a great idea for Denver. Caden Sterns here was a fantastic pick in the 5th round. Like I said, they had 2 5th-round picks, and with their second 5th-round pick, they took another safety, an Indiana safety, Jamar Johnson. You can make a case as a bigger steal than the Caden Sterns selection, just a few picks before here. Lots of these picks by Denver, Quinn Meinerz, Baron Browning, Caden Sterns, Jamar Johnson, these are absolute steals for the Denver Broncos. Getting Jamar Johnson here, you might say he's even better than Caden Sterns, but getting more depth at safety, all of a sudden they have a really nice young defense. This is a fantastic selection by the Broncos in the 5th round. In the 6th round, the Denver Broncos took Auburn wide receiver Seth Williams. Seth Williams was one of the better receivers here in the 6th. I don't think this was a bad pick, but I think they maybe could have took a quarterback here. Maybe Felipe Franks, from Arkansas. I don't think Franks is going to be a starter for a quarterback, but I like him as a project guy for the Denver Broncos. But Seth Williams here was not a bad pick at all. Getting wide receiver here to even get more talent to throw to. Whoever your quarterback is going to be, they're going to have tons of talented receivers to throw to. I thought this was a pretty solid pickup here by the Broncos in the 6th. The Denver Broncos actually had 3 7th-round picks. I always hate the idea when teams have this many late-round picks and they opt to not trade them. But with their first 7th-round pick, is definitely my favorite late round pick of theirs. They took LSU cornerback Kary Vincent Jr. Kary Vincent Jr. was the best corner here available. He was the best player here available. Like I said, they signed Fuller, but he was actually to a 1-year contract. They got Surtain in round 1. They get more corner depth here in round 7. And, you look at 7th round picks. They don't often make the team, but when their best player available, they're more likely to do. Despite being a 7th round pick, Kary Vincent Jr. will easily make the team. I would not be surprised if he has a decent amount of snaps this season for the Denver Broncos. This was a fantastic pick and just another steal here for the Denver Broncos. Like I said, they had 3 7th round picks, and with these last 2 7th round picks, they took edge rushers. Their first edge rusher pick was Ohio State edge rusher Jonathon Cooper. Getting more depth at edge is not a bad idea. Like I said, though, I do not like the idea of having this many late round picks because realistically, I do not think maybe either one of these edge rushers will end up making the team. But, Bradley Chubb, his contract's ending up soon. Von Miller's getting up there in age. I do not think it's a bad idea to double up on edge in the 7th. And with their other 7th round pick, they took an edge in Mississippi State edge rusher Marquiss Spencer. These aren't bad picks, but realistically, I just don't know if they'll make the team because the Denver Broncos had so many draft picks in here, and they had 3 7th round picks. I don't see a scenario at all where there's 3 7th round picks making the team on the Denver Broncos. Overall, I thought the Denver Broncos had a very nice draft. Ended up giving them an overall draft grade of an A. They had some fantastic steals. There was a few picks I was not ecstatic about, but overall, I thought the Denver Broncos had a really nice draft. And if Drew Lock could just be consistent this season, I would not be surprised at all if the Denver Broncos were in playoff contention this upcoming season.